If you're starting an AI automation agency right now, there's a very good chance you're stuck in this tutorial loop. You're watching tutorials, you're learning N8N, you're playing with voice agents, maybe you've built a few cool demos and it feels like progress, it might feel like you're getting somewhere. But then a few months go by and you realize you've got workflows, but you don't have any clients or any revenue. And the reason isn't that you're not technical enough, it's not that you need to learn one more tool, it's the skills that get you clients and the skills that get you good at building are two completely different things. And most people only focus on one of them. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 skills you actually need to build a successful AI automation agency in 2026. Not the tools, not the platforms, the skills underneath all of that. And I promise you, most of these are not what you would expect. So if you're wondering who am I, my name is Folu. I run WorkReady AI. I build AI email agents, WhatsApp agents, voice agents for real estate companies across the US and the EU. We've built systems that handle thousands of inquiries and run for some of the biggest companies in the US. And everything I'm about to tell you is not just theory. It's from running a real AI agency. So there's going to be 5 skills that actually move the needle forward for my agency. And I've broken them down into 2 groups. The first 2 are business skills that get you paid. The last 3 are what I call leverage skills to help you deliver, retain, and grow without constantly needing to chase new leads. Alright, so skill number 1 is learning to diagnose before you build. And here's where most people get it wrong. When you're starting out, the natural instinct is to build something first and then go find somebody to sell it to. You build a chatbot or a voice agent or some lead capture workflow, and then you go knocking on doors hoping somebody wants it. But that's like a doctor writing a prescription before the patient even walks in. It doesn't make sense, because the reality is most business owners don't have any idea on what they need to automate. They can't tell you, I need an N8N workflow that triggers from a webhook and routes a Cloud API call. They don't think like that. What they know is they're overwhelmed, things are slipping through the cracks, and they need help. That's all they know. So your actual job, the thing that makes you valuable, is being able to sit down with a business owner, ask the right questions, and figure out where the problem is. Not where they think it is, where it actually is. So let me give you a real example. We had an estate agency come to us and they said, we need help with lead generation. We're not getting enough inquiries. That's a standard request. But instead of just going away and building them a lead gen system, I started asking questions. How many inquiries are you actually getting per week? Walk me through what happens when somebody fills out the form on your website. How long before somebody responds to them? And that's where the real problem showed up. They were actually getting a decent volume of inquiries. The problem was it was taking them a full day, sometimes even 2 days to get back to people. And by then that person or that lead had already spoken to 3 other agents and probably booked a viewing with somebody else. So we didn't build a lead generation system. We built an AI email agent that would respond to every single inquiry within minutes, automatically 24/7. And that one change, just speed of response, transformed their conversion. Now, if I had built what they asked for, I would have solved the wrong problem and then they would have been disappointed. But because I took time to diagnose what the problem was, we found the bottleneck that was causing this issue and we built something specifically for that had real impact for the business. And this is the consulting side of what we do. This is what clients actually pay for, because building the automation, that gets easier every day. We've seen Cloud Code, Anti-Gravity, N8N, they just make it easier and easier to the point where nearly anybody can build an automation. But the ability to look at a business, understand its moving parts and pinpoint where AI can make the biggest difference, that's rare and that's what's really valuable in this space. So how do you develop this? Well, the first thing you need to do is get on calls. Even free ones where you tell the business owner, I'll get on a call and help you out with AI stuff. That's a good way to start, but you need to get on these calls and ask questions like, if your business doubled overnight, what's the first thing that would break? Or what tasks eat up the most amount of time? Or where do things fall through the cracks? And then just map it out. You can do it on a whiteboard, Google Docs, it doesn't really matter. You're training yourself to see business as systems, and once you've got that, everything else gets easier. But diagnosing the problem is only half of it. You also need to be able to sell the solution, which brings me to skill number 2. Skill number 2, packaging and selling the outcome. The reason AI agencies can't close deals has nothing to do with their selling ability. It's what they're selling makes absolutely no sense to the person that they're talking to. Think about it like this. Most people in this space describe what they do like this: I build AI automation solutions, or something even like I offer custom AI workflows for businesses. And it sounds professional or okay to you because you know what that means. But to a business owner, that's just noise, it's vague, it's generic, and it sounds exactly like every other person sliding into their DM or emailing them now. The skill here is in the translation. You need to package it in a way that a business owner will immediately understand and also see the value in. And there's a simple framework for this. Every good offer has these 3 things: a specific who, so not stuff like I'm targeting businesses or small businesses. I mean something specific like the who is going to be maybe estate agents, recruitment firms, dental clinics, and so on. It also has to have a specific outcome, not we automate your processes, but something tangible like never miss a property inquiry again, or every tenant gets screened automatically before they ever reach your desk, or an AI receptionist that's going to handle all calls and book into your calendar. Something tangible and understandable like that. And then we need to have a specific mechanism. And that's not just going to be something like AI automation, which means absolutely nothing to a business owner, but something like a 24/7 AI email assistant or a WhatsApp agent that qualifies leads while you sleep. So for us at WorkReady AI, our offer isn't we build AI solutions for real estate agents. It's more like we help estate agents respond to every property inquiry within minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, using AI assistants that handle everything automatically. It's fully set up and running within 30 days. A business owner hears that, they can understand it, they can picture it, and they can say yes to something like that. They can't say yes to AI automation solutions. That's the key difference. Now, the second part is actually selling. And I want to reframe this, because selling, especially at this level, isn't about some sort of tactics or persuasion or closing techniques. It's literally just about a structured conversation. That's all. I use a 2-call framework where the first call is a discovery call. That's where I ask questions, I understand their situation, and then I figure out if we're a good fit. The second call is a proposal call, and this is where I present the solution, I walk them through what it looks like, and if it makes sense, we move forward. The key thing is that by the time you get on the proposal call, you've already done the diagnosis from skill number 1. So you're not guessing, you're presenting a specific solution to a problem they told you about. And that's a completely different conversation to cold pitching some generic service. A tip for this is always record every single call. Use free tools like Fireflies or whichever one you use, and after each call, go back and listen to them. Try and figure out parts where you lost their attention, what questions worked, what objections came up that you didn't handle well, or anything like that. And during this process, you're going to learn so much more from reviewing your own calls than you ever will from watching any sales video. And what you have to expect is your first few calls are going to be completely rough, and that's fine. Everyone's first call is terrible, or their first few calls are terrible, but after 10, 15, maybe 20 calls, you start seeing patterns, the same objections come up, the same questions land well, and the whole thing starts to feel a lot more natural. Now, skills number 1 and 2 get you the client. Skills 3, 4, and 5 are going to help you deliver the project, retain the client, and grow. So let's get straight into them. Skill number 3. This is one that I think the whole AI agency space gets wrong. Niche expertise over tool expertise. Everybody in this space is obsessed with tools. Which tool should I learn? Should I learn N8N or Make.com or Vapi or Retail? And look, you need to know your tools, obviously. But what I've realized after running my agency, the thing that wins clients isn't how many tools you know. It's how well you understand the industry. When I talk to an estate agent, I don't start with, let me tell you about AI. I start with something like, I know your team is probably drowning in tenant inquiries. Half of them aren't even qualified. Your negotiators are spending hours on the phone with people who can't afford the property. And by the time you get back to the serious buyers, they've already gone somewhere else. And because I'm able to explain that on a call, they look at me like, how does this guy know all of this? And I know this because I've gone deep into the niche. I understand the workflows. I understand the pain points. I understand the language and the lingo that they speak in. And that understanding is worth more than 15 different AI tools. Because here's what happens when you're a generalist. You show up to a meeting with a roofing company on Monday, and then maybe a law firm on Tuesday, and then a restaurant on Wednesday. And for each one, you're starting from zero. You don't understand their business, their processes, their terminology. So you end up asking surface level questions and building surface level solutions. And you can't charge much because you're basically just a freelancer with some AI tools. But when you pick a niche and you go all in and you go deep on that niche, everything compounds. Every client you work with teaches you more about the industry. Every problem you solve makes you better at diagnosing the next one. Your case studies become more relevant on your website and to the next prospect. Your offer becomes more specific, and you can charge more because you're not just selling automation. You're selling industry expertise powered by AI automation. Now, I'm not saying you need to pick real estate like I did. Pick whatever interests you, pick whatever you have access to, but pick something and commit to it. Go deep in the industry before you go wide. All right, skill number 4 is building systems that run without you. And this is something I learned the hard way. Early on, I built automations for clients. I would hand it over, and then I would spend the next 3 months answering questions about that automation. Stuff like, hey Folu, how does this part work again? Or stuff like, something broke, can you have a look at it? Or how do I change this? And then I realized I hadn't built a system, I built a dependency. The client couldn't function without me, which sounds great for retention until you realize you basically created a job for yourself. You can't scale that. You can't take on new clients if you're constantly firefighting the old ones. So now every single project we deliver comes with what I call a complete handoff package, and it has 3 simple parts. The first part is the process map. Before we even start building, we create a visual flowchart. You can use Miro or Excalibur, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But we build a flowchart of exactly what the system does step by step. So it might look like something like a lead comes in, the system reads it, classifies it, routes it, and then responds. Whatever the flow is, we map it out visually. This does 2 things. It helps the client understand what we're building before we even build it, so there's no surprises, and it becomes the blueprint for the build itself. The second is a video. So it can be something like a Loom video, and this is a walkthrough whenever the system is done. We're going to create this video showing them exactly how everything works, how the different pieces connect, what each part does, how to make simple changes, and what to do if something breaks. This one video saves me hours of back and forth later on when the client wants to change something. And the third part is SOPs, which is written documentation. An SOP is just a standard operating procedure, and that covers kind of the same ground as the video, but it's just in written format. To be honest, a video is enough. It will do the job, and videos are always better. But sometimes if you want to make changes and you don't want to record a new video, then you can use an SOP. And also, if the client wants to reference something quickly, they don't have to look through a full video, they can just look at the SOP. Now the fifth and final skill is the one that ties everything together, and honestly, it's one that compounds the most over time. Skill number 5 is treating client experience as part of your growth strategy. Most people think about growth in terms of marketing, more outreach, more content, more cold emails, more DMs. And yes, all of that matters, but the most underrated growth channel for your AI agency is your last client. If you think about it, if every client you work with has a very good or incredible experience, they're going to tell more people. And they're not just telling random people, they're telling business owners in their network or other people that have the exact same problem. That's what we call a warm referral. And somebody who already trusts you because they've heard or spoken about you from somebody else that works with you or one of your previous clients, that's worth a lot more, even more than 100 or 300 cold emails. So how do you actually create that experience? It comes down to 3 things. First, set expectations early and clearly. Before the project even starts, the client needs to know exactly what they're getting, when they're getting it, what's included, what's not included, and how communication will work throughout the process. We don't want any ambiguity in this section, because every time a client is confused or uncertain about what's happening, that's a crack in the experience. The second is to communicate proactively. So don't wait for the client to chase you down for updates. Send them weekly progress messages, and they don't need to be long, just something like, hey, I just finished setting up the email classification system. I'm testing it this week, and then we're moving on to the response templates. Everything is on track. That's all you have to say. It takes maybe 30 seconds to write, but it tells the client that you're on it, you're organized, and they don't need to worry about asking you questions. That's going to build trust faster than anything else. And the third is always to underpromise and overdeliver, as you can see on the screen here. This is a rule I never break. If I know something is going to take 4 weeks, I'm going to tell the client it's going to take 6 weeks. So even if something does go bad, like the client takes maybe a couple days extra to send me credentials, or one of my tools has an outage, still gives me some breathing room. And if everything goes smoothly, then I deliver the project 2 weeks early and the client thinks you're a machine. Always build in that buffer time. Always do it, because things will go wrong. It's not a question of if, it's when. And if you build in that buffer time, those problems are just minor bumps. And if you don't build in the buffer time, then you miss deadlines, and then that damages the trust with the client. In my agency, every client gets a Notion portal. It's got their project milestone, tasks, breakdowns, software access list, anything like that, and even a progress tracker. When a milestone gets completed, we send an automated email to the client letting them know. So even the progress communication is systemized. And that's what I mean by treating the client experience as a growth strategy. When you deliver on time, communicate clearly, and make the whole process feel smooth and professional, clients are not just going to pay you and move on. They're going to come back for more. They're going to refer you to their friends. They become your marketing department for you. The best marketing I've ever done was never posting a video or cold emails. It was delivering a great experience to a client who then introduced me to 3 other business owners in the same niche. That's how you grow your agency sustainably. So those are the 5 skills you need to build a successful AI agency in 2025. Skill number 1 is diagnosing before building. Understand the problem before you touch any of the tool. Skill number 2, packaging and selling the outcome. Make what you do make sense to a business owner. Skill number 3 is niche expertise over tool expertise. So go deep in one industry rather than being a generalist who knows every tool but no business. Skill number 4 then is to build systems that run without needing you. Deliver something that the client can own and not something that makes them depend on you. And then skill number 5 is all about experience. We've just gone through that, so I don't have to go through that again. Now, you don't need to be perfect at all 5 of these to get started. You just need to be good enough at each one to take that first step. And the only way to get good enough is to actually start. So stop building in isolation. Reach out to people, have conversations, get on calls, and then land your first client, because everything accelerates from there. If you want help with any of this, you can click the first link below where I teach you one-on-one on how to do this. But go and crush it, and I'll see you in the next one.